Shalom. Allah start out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Harakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Ophalet that's pushing this truth across four corners of the earth in all fair truth and sincerity. On this, I'm going to abide by getting us in. This one going to about, the day of the Lord. You have people, in these times, they'll be like, they ready for the Lord to return. They're tired of, of this system, this wicked system that's ran by the so-called white people, red people, Edomite devils. People, especially so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites, complaining, about, this system, and not being treated fairly or whatever it may be, just you can't get nowhere or get ahead in this system, whatever that may be, whatever else that may be, they are complaining about, in this wicked system that's ran by the so-called white people, red people, Edomite devils, but people that desire the day of the Lord, the Lord, the Lord who y'all call Jebus, the name of the Lord Yahushua, it's the real name of the Lord. So you still got people calling him Jebus or Yeshua, Yahuwah, or whatever. But the real name of the Lord is Yahushua, But those that do desire the day of the Lord, you better hope that you are the part of righteous number of the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites. Because if you ain't, you're gonna be destroyed by the Lord Yahushua when he returns in the chariot, so-called UFO. So I'm getting to it. It's Amos 5:18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord Yahweh. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord Yahweh is darkness and not light. So woe means destruction. So woe, destruction unto you, that desire the day of the Lord, Yahweh. So those that desire, the day of the Lord, man, they want the Lord Yahushua to return, to come back, and be taken away from this world, this system. Here in America, Babylon the Great, that's not guaranteed for you. It's not guaranteed, Yahushua return, you're gonna be delivered. Because either you're part of that righteous number of the 100 for the 4,000 and 1/3, or you are part of that 2/3 number of Israelites. You gotta be, a part of the elect. You gotta be the elect number of Israelites. You gotta be the righteous number of the Israelites. And like I say, all you heathens, all you other nations, salvation is not for you. Especially so-called white people, red Edomite devils. Salvation, deliverance, and mercy definitely ain't for you. You could call on Jebus or Yeshua all you want, but that ain't gonna guarantee. Salvation is not for you other nations, and not for you Edomite devils. It's only for the elect, the Israelites, and not for 2/3. 2/3 can call on Jebus and Yeshua. And like I say, if you have the name Lord Yahushua, and like I say, for me myself, first foremost, if you have the name, but it boils down to if you're a righteous number. If Lord Yahushua is gonna have mercy on you, or he gonna destroy you. In these times going forward, like I say, he makes his return in the chariot, so-called UFO. Because everyone that see the Lord gonna tremble. So me myself, for foremost, you better hope in those that believe in Lord Yahushua, and those that desire him, but like I say, you gotta be a part of that number, man. Lord Yahushua, he have mercy on you. He knows who you is. He's like, okay, I got, I'm gonna deliver you. But a lot of most people, you know, here in America, Babylon the Great gonna be destroyed, man, by Lord Yahweh Shai when he returns. You know, the chariot, so-called UFO, with the laser beams or the thermonuclear missiles. You know, that's gonna come raining down on America, Babylon the Great. You know, go from there. Go to the next verse. And like I said, the day of the Lord is not dark, is darkness and not light. It's not gonna be a old happy. Well, it's gonna be a you know, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a great. I say it's gonna be for the elect. It's gonna be, you know, good. You know, for the elect. You know, those that get beamed up in the chairs, so-called UFO. You know, Lord Yahushua gonna have mercy on. But for everybody else, man, it's gonna be darkness, man. Because Lord Yahushua gonna bring his wrath of destruction down upon this place, America, Babylon the Great, and those that ain't right, man. You know. But I'm gonna read Amos 5:19. As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and the serpent bit him. You know, so like, you know, so the day of the Lord, you know, is darkness. So like, you gonna have, you know, people fleeing from this, you know, this situation, you know, that situation, you know, trying to get away, you know, from, you know, being, you know, destroyed. But you're not gonna get away by the Lord Yahweh, by the judgment of the Lord Yahweh Shai, you know. You're trying to escape. You know, you escape this, like I say, you escape from this, escape from that. Then you try, you think that you catch a break, and then, you know, boom, you know, you get judged by Lord Yahweh Shai. You know. So like I say, man, hey, the day of the Lord, you know, this darkness is not light, man. So it's not gonna be a good day for a lot of people. You know, in America, Babylon the Great. But reading on Amos 5:20, shall not the day of the Lord Yahweh be darkness and not light, even very dark and not bright, no brightness in it. So the day of the Lord Yahweh is gonna be darkness, no, not light, even very dark, no brightness in it. It's not gonna be no old happy day for a lot of people. You know. I say for the elect, they get in that chariot, yeah, you know, giving all praise to Lord Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Yahushua, Yahushua, deliver, getting beamed up in that chariot, you know, to escape the second death, to not have to deal with, you know, the thermonuclear missiles or the laser beams or the chariots, so-called UFOs, you know. But for a lot of people, they're gonna have to deal with the laser beams or chariot UFOs from Lord Yahushua, and then ultimately the thermonuclear missiles that's gonna come raining down on America, Babylon the Great, man. You're gonna get burnt up, you know. So it's not gonna be, you know, it's not gonna be you know what I'm saying, old happy day for a lot of people here in America, Babylon the Great. Let me see. I'll go from there. Go to Zephaniah. Let me see something. Hold up. Yeah, I'll go to Zephaniah. Excuse me. So Zephaniah 1:14. The great day of the Lord Yahweh is near. It is near and hasten greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord Yahweh. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. You know, so the great day of the Lord Yahweh Shai is near. You know, it's getting there, you know. Hasten greatly. Hey, the days are going by fast. But that's the Lord Yahweh Shai, you know, speeding up the days. You know, it's speeding up the days and times, and because it's time of, you know, of coming back is near. You know, it's coming. You know, with the prophecies, you know, there's are happening. You know, and that the apostles and the elders of Brother Graham Millstone that's teaching, you know, the word Lord Yahushua and prophesying downfall of the so-called white man Esau Edomite's world, you know, are giving you updates of, you know, of the prophecies of where we at in prophecy, you know, because the other Israelite camps, they're not updating you on prophecy or timeline. Where we at within the coming of the Lord Yahweh Shai. When he makes return, you get gauged off. You get gauged like the Lord's coming based off the prophecies. That's based off the prophecy. Hey, it's near. His time coming is near. And like I said, just a couple more prophecies that gotta happen for the mandatory of the RFID chip and the mark of the beast. Once that come about, but I say, all hell break loose here in America, Babylon Great in the world, which is getting there. It's heating up. I could say, it's gonna get to a boiling point for a lot of people where they're not gonna, enough is enough. They're gonna go to the streets, really just go crazy, and I say really just out here riot. Ain't gonna be no peaceful protest no more. It's gonna be, hey, we hungry. Oh, we tired of paying for high price gas, food, or whatever it may be. That's gonna come about where people are gonna be out here in the streets. Going crazy. And I say Second Ezra, Second Ezra 15 chapter. Goes into hey. Ain't nobody gonna have pity on their neighbor for the lack of food, resources and stuff, cause that's what's coming, and a lot of people out here in America, Bible grace, is gonna be caught off guard in those days, for the lack of resources and food, that's ahead, man. It's gonna catch a lot of people off guard, man. But like I said, man, the day of the Lord, man, is a lot of mighty men like these tough guys out here, man. The toughest guy you may know or whatever, or the guy that, a man that you may know, hey, that guy, he ain't scared of nothing, or whatever it may be, but it's gonna come a time, hey, Yahweh Bashan Shai, hey, he gonna bring down his rapid judgment on Punch Place America, Babylon Great. Hey, that tough guy who you may know what may be, these mighty guys, mighty men, they gonna fold, they gonna shrink. And they especially gonna strengthen when they see Lord Yahweh Shai in the chariot, so called UFO. They be like, oh man, shit ain't gonna be so tough. They're gonna be, shaking in they, shaking in their boots. They'll be shaking in their mind and spirit. And they're gonna be like, oh no, like they know, that the end is the end is upon them, But go from there. Zephaniah 1:15. The day is the day of wrath, the day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Yes, so it's a day of wrath for Lord Yahweh Shai. Like I said, Lord Yahweh Shai come, it's a day of wrath, a day of trouble, distress, wasteness, desolation. I say a number of death and destruction, man. Gloominess. Like I said, man, the day of Lord, I say Lord Yahweh Shai return. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, even before his return, it's gonna be, nothing but it's gonna be nothing but sorrows, mourning, destruction, a lot of death and destruction. That's what's coming. Ain't no good days coming in. And like I say, in those days, they want the Lord Yahweh Shai to return, when things started really escalate, get crazy. Even now, when it escalate more, but like I say, Lord Yahweh Shai may return. That don't mean, hey, please take me. Shit, you better hope, you probably righteous number. You hope me myself first foremost. I'm saying those that believe Lord Yahweh Shai and his word truth for Lord Yahweh Shai, that you better hope that you are the righteous number. That Lord Yahweh Shai does deliver you and take you up in the chariot, so-called UFO. If not, you're going to be destroyed, man. Which is like I said, man. Like I said, man. Like I said, you don't want, But hey, you're gonna have those that I say, 2/3 number, and I said, is gonna be destroyed. And like I say, and the rest of these, the people in America, Babylon the Great, these heathens, these Edomites, these so-called white people, red devil Edomites, so a lot of people desiring the day of the Lord, but hey, it ain't gonna be like I say, a happy day for a lot of you people, desiring the day of the Lord. But go from there. Zephaniah 1:16, a day of trumpet, a day of the trumpet, alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. So like I say, man, you're gonna have those. Excuse me. You have those sirens going off. For the siren that goes off in your cities. For a tornado or anything like that. The alarm that's going off, the siren. And then like you're gonna have the emergency broadcast system saying this is not a test. When those nuclear missiles begin to be shot, what I'm saying, Yahushua's returning in the chariots, so-called UFO. This is not a test. When those missiles getting fired off, and like I say, you have those, you have people that play around with that, take it as a joke, but it's gonna come a day where it's not a joke. It's gonna pop up on your screen one day or on your phone. This is not a test. Go take shelter. So that's gonna come a time of that. It ain't gonna be no joke. It's gonna be reality. Like, this really is gonna happen. It's happening. We'll go from there to Zephaniah 1:17. I will bring distress upon men; they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord Yahweh, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. So it's gonna be distress upon men, man. In these times now going forward, but when that time, as things escalate, it's gonna be a lot of more distress on men, and a lot of people out here that then 2/3 Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino natives, because like I said, repentance is only for Israelites. It's not for the other nations. It's not for the so-called white people, red people, Edomite devils. It's only for the so-called Negro, Latino natives, or Israelites. So 2/3 Israelites that did repent, they kept, doing wickedly. They kept doing sold out, was selling out to the so-called white people, Esau, Edomite devils, these elites or whatever. They ain't gonna have mercy about Lord Yahushua. Like I say, if you're that righteous number of the 144,000 and 1/3, Lord Yahushua gonna have mercy on you. If you're not, you're gonna be destroyed. When he makes his return, or even before that, you're gonna have a lot of so-called Negro, Latino Israelites that's not of that righteous number gonna be destroyed before Lord Yahushua returns. Gonna be caught up in the chaos in the streets, or whatever that may whatever that may be. They get caught up in judgment. So. And like I said, a lot of people out here gonna be, getting put to death and being, being destroyed by the Lord Yahushua. And I say the chariot, the laser beams, but from the chariot, so-called UFO. When Lord Yahushua returns, and I say the thermonuclear missiles, right, when they begin to be shot, begin to be shot towards America, Babylon the Great, and gonna destroy and burn up everything and everybody that's here. So let's see. I didn't want to make this too long, so hope this was edifying. So again, I'd like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Harakah Kadash, to the apostle elders, to the Sisakim brothers, to the few Akwaf sisters that do listen, keep the faith, and Yahushua keep fighting that say Shalom.